The topic is mainly about AI. I'm going to start with Mohammed Azeez. If you can tell us, please, what's the key difference in the food industry between traditional AI and generative AI technologies?
Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon all. Yes, I would like to take you with as simple as possible in the layman terms, but by going by the definition, when you say analytical AI, traditional AI, is a term like when it's an AI model which is trained to give an output based on the data which is already available with it, the set of data sets. It gives you, it uncovers like valuable insights from the data which is available. For example, to take like Amazon or maybe Netflix or maybe a food delivery app which recommends you a different kind of like a menu or different kind of like based on your watch history or based on your ordering history. This is a example of traditional AI. When coming to generative AI is on the contrary, like it has the inputs, it takes the inputs, but it generates a new output. For example, like it generates a new code, it generates a new music or the new text for that purpose. So it is like, for that examples are like we are using nowadays like ChatGPT or maybe a Google AI. These are the examples when it comes to the generative AI.
Thank you. Zulfiqar, every day we are witnessing tremendous news and articles on business pages about the potential impacts of robotics and AI on companies in terms of R&D, investment, P&L, and sustainability. This is a two-part question. A, is it true that the corporate life and professionals can no longer resist to these changes? And B, what do investors looking to invest in these new technology may want to consider?
So yes, it has arrived, and I think we are well beyond the point of this being an option, whether we want to adopt it or not. The option is simple: adopt it or become irrelevant and uncompetitive. It's up to the industry now how best we embed it into our operations. I think what the investors need to be careful about are two things. One is building on our experience of digital transformation, which in most of the cases failed because companies and businesses were trying to digitize the existing processes. So the way I try to explain it to myself, that we were looking for a better matchbox to light the same candle, not looking for the light bulb. So we have to look at the end goal, the need of the business, and then let AI tell us what processes need to be designed to arrive there. Otherwise, we will get nowhere. In fact, it becomes more cumbersome, more expensive. In fact, at times it hinders your previous processes, and that's where the frustration among the staff happens. The other thing which the investors need to be careful about is that this is a very fast evolving technology. You don't want to overinvest into a technology or in a solution which is not easily upgradable. So I think there are solutions available which can be upgraded as the technology is evolving. And they should be implemented because not only from the P&L's perspective, but also from the sustainability side, with the shrinking arable soil, with deforestation concerns, scarcity of water, we need to maximize the yields from the existing soil available. Plus, also, we need to make sure that the wastage is minimized, if not eliminated. So that can easily be done through AI, and that is now, I think it's now a compulsion more than an option.
Thank you. In any investment, there's always a risk, but is the risk very high in investing in AI?
Yes, there is, but then don't look at the price of technology, look at its payback, the ROI. And I think if it is properly assessed and implemented, the ROI is magnificent on these technologies. I come from agriculture and livestock and business. And the benefits which we are seeing in our very initial steps that we have taken towards use of AI are phenomenal. And I have become a big convert to using AI because that reduces the costs, improves the quality, improves the shelf life of the product, reduces wastage, and also helps us which we are in the process of achieving to satisfy the consumer needs and demands more efficiently. Because I think in food industry, we are at that iPad stage where the consumer didn't know that an iPad was needed. The industry kind of led consumer into that direction. Similarly, I think now we know what the technology can do, consumer does not. And we have to lead as industry, both the innovators and technological experts and engineers and consumers into the direction which is more cost competitive, more healthy option. So yes, it is pricey and it looks daunting, but once you do an ROI assessment, it's not.
Okay, thank you. I want to bring you in, Niall. The future of the food ecosystem will be shaped by the seamless integration of AI to spur innovation, efficiency, and sustainability. How is AI helping the efforts to cut waste, increase the recyclability of packaging, ensure the cartons can be recycled through standard recycling process?
Firstly, good morning or afternoon, and thank you for allowing me to be part of this panel. It's a long question, and I'll try and break it up into a number of segments, if you don't mind. I think, firstly, from a machine performance perspective, AI is driving a revolution in how it reduces waste. If we think of the introduction of condition monitoring and predictive maintenance, combined with machine learning, it's really driving a very significant increase in line performance, but a very dramatic reduction in overall production waste, which is the key of what machine learning is bringing to this. Yeah? If I take an example of this, at SIG we have over 80% of our lines connected, so we are actively monitoring from reliability centers to see how we can interact before there is a technical failure or a shutdown on the system. Now, if I take it one step further and move towards collection, the biggest issue as an industry we have in terms of collection is changing consumer behaviors. And AI, in principle, doesn't change that. However, we can incentivize it. If we think about how producers, by simply putting a QR code onto the side of a package to make it smart, by simply scanning the package, we understand that this creates an interaction between the producer and the consumer that not only drives brand loyalty and promotes promotions and product innovations, etc., but take it one step further. It allows us to identify where the key consumer groups are located, which obviously allows us to collect and use beverage cartons in a far more easier and systematic way. Yeah? So if I look at another example of this at SIG, we're using blockchain technology. And by incentivizing collectors to go out and collect cartons, we can indicate where the cartons are, and then of course we can incentivize them to collect, return, and exchange for a refund as well. Yeah? Moving to your point around recyclability, and in principle, all beverage cartons can be recycled. Yeah? The challenge of putting into the standard recycling stream, as you mentioned, is the fact that the fiber content has to be greater than 90%. And this is an industry challenge that I think all producers are working on. Yeah? At SIG, we're working towards having fiber packages greater than 90% by 2030. But where AI plays a very significant part now is that it can automize the separation at recycling plants. So AI will allow us to automatically identify and separate by using a unique watermark technology or product digital password or passport on the actual package. So it allows the package to be identified, separated, and separated from other packaging materials so that it can be collected in a very systematic way. Yeah? And this is something that in the recycling centers, if they're equipped with machine vision systems, it becomes, AI plays a very, very significant part. Yeah? And then finally, if I think about the point around consumer behaviors, we're beginning to see in UAE and KSA the introduction of reverse vending machines to try and incentivize consumers to return and recycle and to incentivize them to collect points and so on. Yeah? By simply using the same digital product passport, the machine understands what product this is, how to identify it, it assesses the quality, and then separates it so that it can be recycled in the best way. So there's a lot going on. I think in principle, perhaps we're at the infancy. It has played a very significant part in terms of driving machine performance. But overall now, if we look at the collection and recyclability of used beverage cartons, AI is beginning to become a very pivotal instrument for the whole industry. Yeah.
At the moment at SIG, at what level are you in terms of percentage of carbon content in your packages? You aim to reach 90%, you mentioned, and currently you're at what percentage?
By 2025, we will be at 85%.
Really?
And the target is to reach 90% by 2030.
Well, intriguing. I just want to ask the audience to prepare some questions if we have time at the end of the session to have a Q&A, I think, so that we can engage with the audience. Mohammed, can you please tell us how AI and robotics are reshaping every aspect of the food ecosystem?
Actually, AI and robotics can be considered as one of the technologies that will reshape all the industry of the food and beverage and all the ecosystem. I don't like to be biased because my background is already a technology, but I believe from day one that technology is enabler. The value of the technology comes when you apply this technology in a specific industry. And for food and beverage industry, applying technology and implement it will accelerate and increase with a very high growth the outcome from this industry. If we take some numbers as examples for robotics, in 2022, the statistics and the global market size of the robotics say that the total market of the robotics is $2.2 billion. After 5 years from now, this market expected to be $4.3 billion. We are speaking about double the market. Also, the studies say that our region is the lowest region that's using technology. We need to enforce using technology and encourage industry to depend on it because it will increase the outcome and enhance the quality and reduce the waste. Also engaging this kind of technology with innovation and entrepreneurship, and this is why in Dubai University, in partnership with Food and Beverage Business Group and IFPA, we are going to launch one of the biggest programs to support innovation and startups in this area. I have one of the good success stories 2 years ago because we are running already the United Arab Emirates hackathon. One of the startups that joined the hackathon have his own livestock farm. The total population of his farm is 3,000 sheep and 400 camel. He developed an AI application that collects more data and information about the life cycle of the sheep and the camels and know more information about their behavior, their productivity, and all of this. After applying this program 6 months only, the productivity of his farm increased 25%. So I believe that implementing robotics, implementing AI and big data in the food and beverage industry will accelerate and enhance the productivity of the industry and also reflect on the economic growth of this industry. So yes, AI and robotics are very important. Also, if you are looking for all the supply chain, the smart delivery, drones and smart cars, all of this also is related to robotics, and all of this increasing and enhancing the ecosystem of the food industry.
Interesting, thank you. Sahil, how the use of AI and big data analytics can address the dynamic regulatory changes along with the testing and verification issues in the food industry?
Good afternoon and Assalamu alaikum. Big data and AI has already become the game changer in the food industry. undeniably, these are very crucial tools already used for various aspects by various organizations. For example, like market dynamics, preference of the customer, choice of taste, and they've been used in various aspects of speech recognitions and transformation of this speech to valuable informations, etc. But what I'm going to talk about today is the use of this technology, big data and AI, in reshaping the regulatory compliance, food safety, recalls, and all these quality management issues that we have in the manufacturing industry, basically. So if you see, AI is not new now, even in the food safety as well. People are using it. There are a lot of companies who have harnessed and understood the AI and big data in a larger level and are capable of having predictive models of product specifications and analysis and etc. So let us now see an example of one company, for example, a factory producing and exporting products to various destinations across the globe. If you see the amount of data that these companies have to go through to come up with their specifications and their testing protocol is immense. So they will have to check about the regulatory requirements in those particular countries. They will have to check also about recalls that has happened. They will have to check about border rejections, label compliance issues. Now, to add on to this problem, the requirements of regulations in those countries are mostly in English, but there are plenty of countries, or many of the countries, they only facilitate this regulation in their local language. For example, Japanese or Korean or Filipino or Chinese, etc. So it becomes a challenge actually for an organization to determine exactly how to streamline this into usable information, because you will have to now go on with all these regulatory bodies, search data one by one. Now, this is where the big data can be, big data analytics and AI can be really useful. To comb through these informations, one would require a lot of, logins, credentials, and subscriptions, etc. So, using big data analytics, like tools like, NLP and HDFS, etc. These kind of programs recognized text-based informations, and they can read through these text-based informations, and they can convert these text-based informations into useful data. For example, if you see recalls and food fraud data and all those border rejection data are generally published by regulatory authorities. If you take example of Europe, it is published in RASSF portal, and in USA there is a portal for FDA. In China there is a portal as well. So there are various portals available, and this data is readily available to use. But how to interpret them? Because they are data. If you see, they have got volume of data, velocity, variety, and variance, and also these data carries values. Some of the data that is available in these portals, they are structured data. I mean structured in the sense like an Excel sheet, it's classified. It's you know that what belongs to what. Some of them are semi-structured data, like logs or printed logs, rejection notice, or notice pertaining to recalls, or notice pertaining to label compliance issues. Some are unstructured data, for example, images and graphical images, etc. So these programs that big data analytics uses can recognize this data, interpret, and bring them to a portal where it is converted and refined into valuable data. From there, we go one step ahead and we populate these data in the form of valuable informations like testing plans, verification plans, methodology for testing, recall protocols, label compliance issues. So one company has to input their export, country of export, country of import, country of sale, and ingredients. By entering these details, now you will be able, the AI system involved will be able to transform this, pull data from the regulatory framework, and present it in the form of compliance plans. So the hilarious work, the Herculean work of combining these data, which is of course a Nobel Award winning process for the people who are doing that, they know. And this could be very easily done, and you do not have to depend on human in intervention in this, and there is a lot of advantage that can be brought in because errors can be minimized. Food waste that is due to the recall and due to rejections, etc., can be tremendously transformed into positively transformed as well. So if you are asking that how far we are with using big data, we have already platforms that runs on digitalized platforms that runs on systems who create intelligent excavation of these data and populating them into useful informations. But I'm fortunate enough to tell you that we are on the verge of releasing a very interesting product. The launch, I think, is done today. I'm not able to tell you further about this, but this is a tool that any industry can use to give inputs and for regarding this products, and very easily generate the testing, verification, compliance plans, even product specifications. So yes, big data is really a game changer in this business, and I would like to emphasize that what Mr. Zulfiqar said, if you are not changing yourself, how we look at this evolving world, you will not be, you will be outdated. So again, big data is definitely the going forward business for food industry.
Thank you. I'll come back to you, Mohammed Azeez. Is it true that generative AI has the potential to alter dramatically the food processing and manufacturing industry, where creation and innovation are key? And can you share with us a concrete example from your previous experience?
Well, I'll put it in this way. For example, like in any manufacturing industry, to go with, it produces products. At the same time, it produces data. These are the two things. So when you use this data properly, you can do enormous things. You can, like the way my fellow panelists said, they have issues like when it comes into the evolving new technology and when it comes to the compliance. So these are the few factors which we need to take into consideration, which will give you the better results when we are using generative AI. It could be like with the help of generative AI or maybe the technology which we are using, it can contribute to farm to the fork. That's what I use the term. It could be in the agriculture, like there are multiple things where like the soil detection or maybe the farming, harvesting, or the things like maybe in consumer market, like for example, supermarket, we are already experiencing there are no humans present. You just get into it, the market, you get your products come out and it gets deducted from your account. So these kind of applications are there. So in coming to the manufacturing perspective, I would like to share our past experience where
In your company?
in my company, in Yokogawa, where we work. So we are the first company to not automate, we should say autonomous. We have made an industry, a gas plant, oil and gas plant, to autonomous, where the plant has run for 35 days without a human going inside the plant. Straight away, the raw material to the process, to product, quality, and the product which comes out, totally, we have run this as a pilot test in the month of February 2022, last year. We were quite successful with the test result, and and it has over-exceeded the expectations, or maybe over-exceeded the way humans have done before.
This is in oil and gas, but have you done similar
Yeah. So what happens is now these kind of applications we are already trying to implement when it comes to the food and it takes some time, because what happens is this is being a regulatory environment in food and beverage industry. There are various factors which we need to take into the consideration. It's starting from the regulatory authorities, the framework for the regulation, and then it comes to the investment, and then it comes to the training of the people, and at the same time the infrastructure. It has to be built to accept AI. Without automation, like when in the manufacturing industry, you need to first come to the automation layer. From there, you can just plug in your AI environment on the top so that you can extract the data. So what I feel is, yes, there are quite possibilities. We are also working on few applications, especially for the dairy industry, where you are trying to monitor the cow health monitoring, or maybe cow feed management system with the help of AI. Like we are using computer vision technologies, and we are using like the AI, the data which is already available, how we can contribute to this, how we can effectively see that the health of the livestock is maintained. And coming to the poultry side, we are also thinking on the poultry health monitoring. And on the fish farming, like we are trying to see like how the fish growth can be identified, how we can track them, how we can see them that how they are performing. So these are the few applications where we are already trying in this. So it may take some time because of this multiple challenges which I've just told you. So it is quite possible in near future.
Okay, thank you. Just I need to remind the audience to prepare the questions before. This is kind of a wrap-up questions to all the panelists. We'll start with you, Zulfiqar. Is AI technology a disruption that is going to happen? And are we going to witness losses of jobs in the more traditional setting? Because everybody is asking about AI, it's a new technology. What about loss of jobs?
So, as I said, that it has arrived, it is there to stay, and it is for humans to decide how best they can use it. Job loss is not the word I would use. I would say that human involvement in businesses would be kind of upgraded or transformed into something different, because we do require people to ask intelligent questions from AI to get the right answers. So we require that kind of education and that kind of deep understanding of the business and operations that we are looking at. So I'm not worried or concerned about human jobs being lost. In fact, I think the quality of life for humans will only improve, and human involvement in certain jobs, especially which are not the most healthy kind of jobs, working in the sun or in high or low temperatures, especially in food where we work in below zero temperatures most of the time in damp environment. So those would be eliminated, and human involvement, as I said, in the business would become more intelligent, more value-adding, and our education system, our vocational training system should be adjusted accordingly, because AI itself will become a hindrance for normal operations if we just try to do the same processes as we have been doing before. So just to answer in one word, no, I'm not concerned about human jobs losses. What I'm more concerned about is that can the vocational and educational training keep up with this change?
So it's basically taking off the excess fat and of the...
I wouldn't call it fat. Of course, the people are doing jobs which are necessary, which is very much the muscle of the manufacturing and commercial processes that we get involved into. It's just that that muscle will be used somewhere else, more important, more value-adding, to get more products, to open new playgrounds, which so far we are not aware of, in fact. We have not thought about, we have not discovered. So I think I'm very excited about it. I don't think it's a challenge. I think it's an opportunity. We should not be deterred by it. We should be excited about it and embrace it.
Thank you. Briefly also, Mohammed on the same issue of job loss.
Actually, totally agreed. It is not a job loss. It is upgrading the jobs, upgrading the skills, and based on the point of skill gap, this is also another pillar of the program we are going to launch. We are going to develop upscaling program for all people who are interested to work in the food and beverage industry. We did a quick study and we find that there is more than 28 new job opportunity with new job skills needed in different part of the whole chain of the food and beverage sector. This is why it is very important to upscale the skills of the people who are interested to work in this area, to open a new job opportunities for them. And also, it is better to make the machines take over the responsibility of the regular day activities. This will help increasing and accelerating the processing time and the delivery time and the quality and also the safety of the food. But yes, it is important to prepare the coming generations for the new job opportunities.
Thank you. Niall, your intake on that?
I think if I refer to how we are doing design and how we are using AI, it has changed the whole innovation arena completely. Yeah? I think the traditional way of innovating based on an idea is now being changed to based on big data. And if I take it back one step further, back to the point that I made earlier, the data that's collected from condition monitoring on machines and driving machine performance is something that is giving a step change to producers and to manufacturers, yeah, in terms of how we manage waste. So it is the whole supply chain of data, I think, starting all the way down the line of what my colleagues talked about, down into innovation and performance. Yeah.
Thank you. Sahil, before we wrap up, before the Q&A, your intake on the same issue, please.
Actually, this was the same question when computer was introduced, that will it take job? And finally, we can see that it hasn't taken job any, but it has given plenty of other jobs as well. So as and when technology evolves, there are new areas to look into, there are new horizons to explore. If we keep on doing the things that we do today, we will not have an eye on those horizons to scan those horizons to see the possibilities that we might, innovate, and the way of life that we're having could be tremendously transformed as well. So I would say that definitely it's not a job loss issue here. All that it can do is that it can create opportunities in different angle, and of course, as he said, we have to be updated, and our programs for educating should be updated based on that.
Azeez, briefly before we go to the Q&A.
Yes, I'll quickly take this. Here, the thing is, job loss, what we say this, even I say that it's not a job loss, but the change which is taking up, it's inevitable. Here, I'll take you the one infamous example, a story before, like in the 1800s, when the mechanization took place. They were like in UK, one of the wool factory. They were against the mechanization. The workers have gone on the protest. They were not happy. They have threatened the employers that they don't want to come to the work, and they have tried to destroy the machines. But it didn't stop. Today, mechanization or automation is a need of, is must to have in any factory, because you are unable to do the task without a machine which is not being automated. So in that way, I could say that these changes are inevitable, but the thing is, there are a lot of emerging opportunities where the careers can be built in this particular field, where you can upskill yourself, you can upgrade yourself, and the onus is on the, what we say, the organizations, or maybe the institutions, to train the people, train the students, to upgrade themselves, to go into this direction, to find what best it can be done into the AI industry, because this is the need of the hour. If you see down the line, after a few years, then AI is mandatory in your factory. You can't live without it.
Thank you for this wonderful panel discussion. I'm Sajid Maqsood. I'm a professor in Food Science Department in UAE University. I'm just asking a couple of questions to any of you. You might volunteer to answer that. Okay, the technology is there, and there's no option to really step back industries have to use it, okay? But do you think that it will create a kind of gap when you talk about the customers or consumers' purchasing power, okay? So because using AI, big data will eventually increase the cost of the products, okay? The food products will be costlier, okay, compared to the previously used techniques, which was more towards traditional, even not completely automized or AI based. So this might create a kind of gap where the consumers' purchasing power will be a limitation or a limiting factor. And I think, can you provide your insight on that? How industries ready to take that challenge on?
If I may ask the question back from you, how do you think the cost will actually increase? Because in my opinion, the costs would go down. We would have less wastage, we will have high yields, we will have better quality, we will have less labor involvement. And with less labor involvement, we are also talking about higher utilization of the equipment, because we can actually run the equipment 24 hours without any lunch breaks. So I think the costs will go down. We will have more optimized and more efficient supply chain, which is another big cost, reduced carbon emissions. So I think it will check all the boxes. It will actually reduce the cost of the product, not increase. So I couldn't understand.
So means the AI has been in the business from, I think, almost 2, 3, 4 years, right? You know. So do you see it's really decreasing the cost? I'm just wondering. This is just. Do you see it really happening, or it's just your
So I can give you a live example, I mean a real life example from my company where we did not start using it 4 years ago. We started using it or start implementing it about a year ago. And since then we have been learning, and we already are seeing an improvement in our bottom line, because our access to customers has increased. Our access to consumer is better, our supply chain costs are less. And it's a journey where in AI, it's not only the machine learning, it's also the human learning, which is important, right? So as we are learning, both machine and humans are understanding each other, and it is coming down. So I'm very hopeful and in fact confident that the costs will come down, the quality will improve, and the variety of products will also be enhanced. So I think all the positives. Anyone?
Yes, for me, it is the same, but maybe the change will be increasing in the consumption, not increasing in the price. You will see a lot of new products, you will see a lot of different categories of products. Some of them could be higher, because the AI and the data analytics will give a lot of feedback for companies and for industry about the customer behavior, the customer needs, the customer preferable products. At this time, you will see increasing in the consumption, but maybe decreasing in the cost of production of a specific product.
We have 1 minute left. If there's any other question, please. In the back, please. Can you stand up, please? Please, we have 1 minute only.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mohammed Amarsha, and I'm a student of BSc Food and Nutrition Science, final year. So I'm basically very fascinated by AI because I think it is the future, and I heard a panelist say that it is now currently a part of our lives, and it is not an option, it is a compulsion, and I agree. So what are some good sources of information that a student like myself can refer to learn more about AI and its applications, to make myself understand its uses and make myself be of use to the food processing and manufacturing industry?
Thank you. Anyone from, I think maybe Muhammad Aboud from University of Dubai?
The main source of information you can look for is Google it, search for AI in food industry, AI in agriculture. You will see a lot of resources, a lot of information. and wait for our program. We are going to launch this program within 1 month from today. There will be a lot of information, a lot of resources, and hands-on training, and also hackathons for all students who are going to join us in this program to upscale their knowledge and experience in the AI and in the whole emerging technologies that can support the food and beverage industry.
Thank you, Mohammed. Please, can you give a round of applause for the panelists? And thank you very much.